Look, I've spoken recently on several occasions, actually, about the Governor of the Reserve Bank, Dr. Philip Lowe, perhaps Australia's most expensive protected species. He's on over $1 million a year and has at his disposal 1,342 full-time equivalent employees, but he can't get it right, and he gets away with it. I repeat what I've been saying. Given that we don't know where inflation is going, we don't know where interest rates are going, the protected species, Lowe, and his 1,342 staff can't tell us. But he could tell us last November, quote, "It's still plausible that the first increase in the cash rate will not be before 2024. He could still tell us last November, quote, "I find it difficult to understand why rate rises are being priced in the next year," and that is this year, or in early 2023. Yet here he is now telling us that, quote, "It's unclear at the moment how far interest rates will need to go up." This is policy failure of enormous proportions. The crisis with inflation and interest rates is a direct consequence of failed monetary policy by an expensive and bloated Reserve Bank. How business makes responsible decisions in this environment, I do not know. I mentioned the intervention last Friday of the former talented Federal Treasurer Peter Costello, when he said of the Reserve Bank, quote, "The bank completely missed the surge in inflation, heightening the risk of recession with its worst monetary policy failure in 3 decades," unquote. Peter Costello also said, re-inflation, quote, "The RBA completely missed the takeoff point in the March quarter," unquote. Now, we need to remember that the role of the central bank is to secure the stability of the financial system. That stability has now been squandered. By telling us with all his damaged authority last November, it is still plausible that the first increase in the cash rate will not be before 2024, which leads him now, obviously terrified of getting it wrong again, to say, "Oh, it's unclear at the moment how far interest rates will need to go up." Well, Peter Costello described Lowe and his Reserve Bank as, quote, "the worst failure in monetary policy since the 1990s. And he said the consequences are that the RBA now has to raise interest rates faster and further than otherwise would be the case," unquote. If this is not a catastrophic failure by Lowe and the Reserve Bank, what is?